Welcome to Biff's Mystery Theater. I have many tales to tell you. Ghost stories, murder stories, and tales that will make your bones chill. Join me, won't you? For Theater of the Mind, where you always have the best seat in the house. Now close your eyes and turn off the lights.
Fed up with the everyday grind? Tired out by the dull routine? Want to get away from it all?
We offer you Escape. Escape, transcribed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are flying over the lonely wastes of the Pacific, lost, torn by the fury of a typhoon, your gas running out. And ahead of you is an adventure so strange, so terrifying, that your mind cannot accept it.
Today, we escape from reality with the tale of a Navy flyer who vanished from the face of the earth into a new world of the future, as Nelson Bond told it in his story, Conqueror's Isle.
You've got to believe this. It sounds utterly impossible, I know. It sounds crazy. That's why I'm here, sir. But it's the truth, and you've got to believe it. You've got to, sir. You've got to.
That's the way he started, almost as soon as I'd walked into his hospital room. He wasn't violent, you understand. There was no need for restraint. But his every action, every gesture was evidence of a psychotic condition. To be extremely charitable, battle fatigue. Well, anyway, it was an odd case. I was already acquainted, of course, with the history. Young man, graduate of Annapolis, lieutenant in the Fleet Air Arm, excellent record, citations for bravery and so forth. And toward the end of the war, he and his bomber crew disappeared over the South China Sea. Search failed to turn them up. They were, of course, presumed to be lost. And then a month ago, almost 4 years later, Lieutenant Brady was found by a Brazilian freighter drifting helplessly and nearly dead in a tiny life raft from the airplane. Curiously enough, his position was not far from that last reported by his radio operator 4 years ago. But when he was asked where he'd been, he gave a story so fantastic, so utterly unbelievable.
It's the truth, and you've got to believe it. You've got to, sir.
At ease, Lieutenant.
I'm sorry, sir.
I'm here to consult with you as a physician, not order your cure as a superior officer. Now, suppose we ignore the braid while you tell me about it.
Oh, thank you, Doctor. Where should I begin?
Well, it's your story. You know what it is you want me to believe. The trouble began, I understand, on your last bombing mission.
Yes, that's right. That's when my troubles began. The thing's been going on for much longer than that. Years, certainly. Decades, perhaps. Somebody has got to do something, Doctor. Time is racing by, and with every passing day, they grow stronger. I've got to make people understand.
Lieutenant. Now, suppose you start at the beginning, with that unfortunate last flight.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, I got a little... Well, then it was this way. We'd finished our mission, and we were starting for home. We were over the South China Sea, between the Philippines and Indochina, roughly off Palawan. Everything was peaches and cream. The Arden Alice was purring along like a dream, and I was sitting there chewing up a pack of lifesavers, thinking how good that can of cold beer was going to taste, when the intercom crackled in my ear.
Lieutenant, Jap freighter, 10 o'clock.
Huh? Yeah, you're right. Looks like a single tramp beating up the coast. You still got a Bertha?
Yes, sir.
Okay, maybe we can have some fun. Red 4 to Mac. Red 4 to Mac.
Go ahead, Red 4.
Jap freighter, 10 o'clock.
Check.
We've still got a Bertha. How about it?
Why not? It's your party. Go ahead and good luck.
Roger and out. It was as easy as hitting a sitting duck. The long dive, the bomb release, the pull-out, the dull concussion. We laid it down her aft stack, and that Jap ship went up like a Roman candle.
Hey, nice going, Lieutenant. Right on the button.
That's one Jap we won't have to worry about anymore.
Lieutenant, we're hit.
Huh?
A piece of that Jap must have come up and hit us. We're spraying gas all over the Pacific out of the left wing tank.
Yeah, I see it now. Well, guys, get ready for a bath. We'll never make it back.
I object. It ain't Saturday night. Never mind. I always did want to take a ride on one of them little rubber boats.
No need to worry. The Navy takes care of its own. They'll be out to get us before we have a chance to get thirsty. Red 4 to Mac. Red 4 to Mac.
Nice going, fella.
Yeah, only it was a two-way deal. We're hit, Mac, losing gas fast.
Think you can make it?
Nope, it's a salt bath for us.
Sorry, fellas. Keep your radio on. Give your last position to base before you ditch it. They'll have a rescue party out in an hour.
Wilco.
See you tonight. Good luck. Over.
Roger, out. You see, there was nothing to it. It happened every day. With ships all over the Pacific, they'd have a destroyer sitting there when we came down. But a half hour later, when our gas was down to a few cupfuls and the rest of the squadron was long out of sight, an amazing thing happened. One minute the sky was clear and cloudless. The next minute we were surrounded by thunderheads, and a typhoon burst on us.
Holy cow, Lieutenant. Where'd this come from?
I don't know, but it's a Lulu. Fasten your safety belts. There's no telling what this'll do to us. It was a granddaddy typhoon, all right, but it lasted only a few minutes. Then we got out of it as miraculously as we'd come into it. And wonder of wonders, we were directly over a small island.
Well, what do you know? Take a look at that sight for sore eyes. Man, oh man, it looks mighty fine to me. What island is it, Lieutenant?
I don't know. I don't recognize it. And after the way we got tossed around back there, I haven't any idea of our position. We could be anywhere from the coast of China to the Philippines. Who knows?
Who cares? It's dry land.
Yeah, just in time. We're out of gas. Hey, Jack.
Yeah?
See if you can get a fix and radio our position. We're going down. We landed safely on a little strip of sandy beach. And only after we'd climbed out of the plane did we begin to have any misgivings.
What do you think, Skipper?
Well, it doesn't look like much, but
I don't see anybody. Not a sign of life.
I got a good look from topside coming down. There weren't any houses, nothing.
still you can't tell. They could be Japs. Or worse.
Headhunters, maybe.
We better stick together, stay close to the plane. Shouldn't be more than a few hours.
Oh, yeah, except...
Hey, what the...
Hold it.
Hello there.
A white man.
Hey, what is this?
Keep your eyes open. It might be a trap.
But he's a white man. He speaks English and he's not armed.
No, I don't see any guns.
Just the same, watch it.
Welcome, gentlemen, welcome. We saw you land, so I hurried out to see if I could be of any assistance. May I introduce myself? I'm Dr. Grove.
I'm Lieutenant Brady, and these are my men. Radio man Kavanaugh, my gunner, Sergeant Geller.
Hi,
It's pleasure, gentlemen, pleasure. Are any of you in need of medical assistance?
No, thanks. We're all okay. Just a little surprised to find anyone here.
Well, yes, of course. That can be explained to you later. But right now, you'll be wanting food and rest.
Hey, now, a little chow wouldn't be bad.
But first, we have to get in touch with our base. Give them our position.
Oh, of course, but such things take some time in these primitive areas.
Oh, we have a radio on the plane.
Did have, Skipper.
What?
I was just starting to tell you. It went out just before we sighted the island. Must have got wanged up in that storm.
Well, can you fix it?
I suppose so, if it's nothing serious. I'll tell you better after I have a chance to look at it.
Of course. But in the meantime, I hope you'll accept our humble hospitality. We don't have the pleasure of entertaining new guests here often. It'll be good to chat with you all. If you'll follow me, please.
How about it, Skipper?
Sure. Why not? After the last half hour, we could all use a little relaxation.
Very good. Right this way, please.
I should have smelled it right then. There was something strange about the whole thing. There were a lot of questions in my mind, but somehow I didn't ask them. Instead, we walked down the jungle path behind Dr. Grove, like lambs to the slaughter. Tom Geller must have had the same misgivings because he whispered in my ear.
I don't get it, Skipper.
Don't get what, Tom?
Where do these guys come from? Where do they hang out? When we were coming in, I made sure to take a good look at this island. There were no houses, no nothing.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah. Hey, stop. Oh, holy cow, will you look at that?
Dr. Grove stopped in front of what looked like a big rock. And then we saw it was expertly camouflaged cement with a sliding door.
There. Here we are, gentlemen. You'll be good enough to enter?
Enter what? That?
Don't be alarmed. It's only an elevator.
An elevator? In this jungle? Now, what kind of monkey business is this, anyhow? Do you mean to tell me you live underground?
My dear Lieutenant, I'll be glad to explain everything later. It's all very simple. But first, I must insist that you enter the shaft.
So now you're insisting. And suppose we prefer not to step into your elevator, then what?
Then I should be compelled, most regretfully, to enforce my request.
Guess again, pal. We happen to be armed. A gun, 3 guns. That's one detail you overlooked.
I overlooked no details, Lieutenant. Would you be kind enough to fire your gun?
Watch yourself, Skip. It's a trick. He wants you to shoot. The sound will bring help.
Wrong, my friend. I need no help. Very well. If you won't accept my invitation...
Wait a minute. Keep your hand out of your pocket.
Perhaps you would care to stop me, Lieutenant?
Okay, if you asked for it.
Hey, Lieutenant!
Try again, Lieutenant, but your gun will not work
Skipper,
on this
he's right.
island.
Mine
Neither
won't
will
work
mine.
either.
And now, perhaps you'll be kind enough to step into the shaft?
Look, I don't know what's going on here, but I don't want any part of it.
Yeah, neither do I.
Come on, gang. Let's get out of here.
Just a minute. I'm sorry. You forced me to use harsh measures. Believe me, I do so reluctantly.
What's that you've got there?
Just a small tube, but a very potent weapon, I must warn you.
Yeah? Well, then you better use it fast. I made a desperate lunge for him, and suddenly... tiny shaft of light flicked out from the tube and touched me. And I stopped, frozen in my tracks. Conscious, my eyes open, seeing him, hearing him. But try as I would, I could not move a muscle. I was as if turned to stone.
In just a moment, we will return to Escape. But first, both Gangbusters and The Adventures of Philip Marlowe are regular Saturday night features on most of these same CBS network stations. So be listening tonight when they bring you an exceptional, fast-moving, gripping hour of mystery. And now, with our stars, David Ellis, Ted Von Eltz, and Bill Johnstone, we return to the second act of Escape and Conqueror's Isle.
I was paralyzed, Dr. Gorham. Completely paralyzed. As if turned to stone. I had all my senses. I could see and hear and feel, but I couldn't move a muscle, not even turn my eyes.
And you say this happened because of some kind of light beam?
Well, not exactly a beam, sir. Perhaps not exactly light. Just a kind of radiance.
A gas, perhaps?
No, because it had no form, no odor, no taste. It was like becoming enmeshed in a web of moonbeams.
I see. And its only effect on you was to immobilize you.
Yes, that's right. It didn't burn or sting or cause pain in any way. I simply couldn't move. It was like a hypnotic trance.
And then?
Well, then some of Dr. Grove's companions came out of the elevator. They picked us up and carried us. I could feel their hands very softly, as if they were far away from my body, as if there were layers of rubber between them and me. I could hear Dr. Grove talking.
Place him in the shaft. Gently, please.
I could see him bending over me into my line of vision.
I'm sorry, Lieutenant. I sincerely regret having to inconvenience you. But you see, just as we have the means of hampering your primitive mechanical devices, your guns, your radio, so do we have the means to enforce our requests. Requests which are, I assure you, only reasonable and necessary under the circumstances. Very well. Take us down.
My head was reeling, and fear was growing in me. Who were these men to talk of radio as a primitive device? What kind of men were they? Where were they taking the 3 of us, and what were they going to do with us? As if he'd read my thoughts, Dr. Grove leaned over me again.
There's no need to be alarmed, Lieutenant. No need at all. All right. Gently. Carry them gently.
Well, Fraser,
I'm sorry, Frater Dorden. It was necessary. They would not come willingly.
I see. Yeah, a few of them do. I'll put them in the sleeping chambers until they recover. And be gentle. They are so frightened, poor things.
Poor things. Poor things, he'd said. Not as if we were human beings at all, but animals. Some weak, dumb animals with whom they must be gentle. It was then that I began to know real fear. We were in a great underground city, but I could see little of it. Nothing except what passed in front of my rigid eyes. Then I was carried into a room, deposited upon a soft couch, and left alone. I could not close my eyes, but gradually the light began to fade, to melt away. I was in deep blackness, and I slept. I don't know whether the return of the light awakened me, or whether it came on automatically when I woke up. But the room was bright, and I could move again. I jumped up, tried the door, but of course it was locked, and there was no other way of escape. The room was a small cell with metal walls and ceiling, a kind of metal I'd never seen before. There was a cot, a desk, and a chair, and nothing else. But the really amazing thing was the light. I searched the entire room carefully, but there were no fixtures, no indirect lighting arrangements. The light came out of the walls, evenly filling the room, casting no shadows. Suddenly I wanted to see Kavanaugh and Geller. I yelled at the top of my lungs. But there was almost no sound, no echo from the walls. They simply absorbed the sound into utter silence. Then as I stood there, with fear cold in my stomach, I heard a faint sound, a footstep behind me. I whirled around just in time to see Dr. Grove stepping through the wall.
You said through the wall, Lieutenant. Of course you mean through the door.
Through the wall. Through the wall, sir. The door was in front of me, but Dr. Grove stepped into my cell through the solid metal wall.
You realize that what you're saying is impossible.
To us it is. To them, nothing is impossible. Nothing. That's why we must act, and act now before it's too late. You must believe me, sir. This is man's last chance.
I'll do my best. Perhaps you'd better continue. Now, this Dr. Grove stepped through the wall.
Yes. As I'll tell the rest as quickly as I can. I can see that you don't believe me. But someone must, somewhere, sometime, someone must.
Lieutenant!
Well, as I said, Dr. Grove stepped into my cell through the wall. Suddenly, my panic ended. I looked at him now with awe. And we talked, not as man to man, but as man to a lesser creature. Me.
You must not be frightened, Lieutenant. You do not understand how I passed through a wall which to you seemed solid. And not understanding, you feared.
But
Yet there is nothing supernatural or fearful about what I did. Any of us can do it at will. You see, there is no such thing as a solid in this world of relativity. We know that there is plenty of room for the molecules of our bodies to pass between the molecules of those walls. We simply make a necessary mental adjustment and walk where we will. It is an ability as basic to us as breathing to a person like you.
what kind of men are you?
You have been educated, studied Darwin. You know the facts of evolution. You know how man has progressed through various stages from the primitive savagery of the Neanderthal man.
Well, yes, but...
Obviously, this process can and will continue. To suppose that the evolution of man is complete with you is a mistake of conceit.
You mean you are the next stage?
Exactly. You have heard of the process of mutation, perhaps. How suddenly a white rose is produced of a family of red roses, and from then on produces only white descendants?
Yes.
So have we been evolved, as mutants, infinitely superior to our parents and our fellow men, knowing by instinct right from birth what you must study years to learn, your most difficult physics and mathematics, our ABCs, our studies far beyond your understanding.
Are there Many of you?
Yes. You see, the process has been going on for many years. Hundreds, thousands more come to us every year from all over the world, drawn here by telepathic message, where we have isolation to study, learn, build, prepare ourselves.
Prepare? Prepare for what?
For the task ahead. Obviously, when we are ready, when we are numerous enough to fill all the necessary positions, our superior intelligence must shape a new world.
Take over the world?
Obviously.
You will destroy man?
How little you understand us. Do you destroy the animals of the field because they are not your intellectual peers? Our obligation is to keep and protect you, to act as your friendly guardians in a world which will be strange to you and frightening, as my walking through the wall was frightening to you.
I see. Yes, I see. Then what is your plan?
Rather say, nature's plan. And the answer to that lies in history. What became of the anthropoids, the cavemen?
They died out. Civilization passed them by. They fell before the onrush of higher forms of life.
Even so. Even so. But I give you our pledge that we will be kind. We will be kind.
And then he took me out into that great underground city, through its corridors and great halls and laboratories and shops. Took me among the thousands of his fellow men. There I saw marvels of which I could talk for hours. There were... But they would be beyond your comprehension as they were beyond mine. You wouldn't believe me, and so I won't bother to tell you. Then I met others like us, some 200 captive cattle, people who had stumbled onto this island as I had. There were famous names among them. A famous author whose ship disappeared in the Pacific years ago. A big game hunter. A famous aviatrix for whom a dozen fleets had sought in vain. All of us, prisoners. We were treated with great kindness, made comfortable, relatively happy. We were their pets, you see. Their dumb animal pets. For over 3 years I stayed there. After a while I ceased to struggle. Even in my mind, I was defeated. And so I succumbed to the peaceful, bucolic existence that was my fate. At least that's what I thought. Then came that last day. Dr. Grove had made me his special pet. I was allowed to follow him about at work, to talk to him at length. And on this day, he confided in me even more than usual.
Well, Lieutenant, it has been a pleasant day.
Yes, Doctor. Am I to go now?
Not for a moment. Ah, yes, I shall miss having you with me when I'm gone.
Gone? You're going away, sir?
Yes, very soon.
But where?
Out into the world, where you once lived.
But why?
Oh, there are many, very many of us there already. In strategic places, of course. An important politician here, an industrial magnate there, a famous author whose words are gospel to his readers. I will have my place, an important one.
But I didn't know. You didn't tell me that it's already begun.
Oh, yes, definitely. The hour is close at hand.
And then, all of us, the whole world.
Lieutenant, you know us now. You know that we will be kind.
Kind. Yes, kind. Suddenly all the anger that was in me welled up. I didn't want to be a dumb animal, a pet for some superior being to be kind to. I didn't want that for my loved ones, my friends, my fellow men. That night at dinner when they fed the prisoners in a big communal hall, I got a chance to talk to Kavanaugh, my old radio man. He listened and then shrugged hopelessly.
They'll succeed, Joe. You know that.
No, not if the world could be warned.
I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't make any difference. Besides, how could they be warned?
If somebody could get away from here.
Escape? That's impossible.
I know, that's what I thought. But listen, I've got an idea. There's one chink in their invincibility.
What?
Their gentleness, their kindness. They can't bear to hurt anyone. None of their weapons kill, but only paralyze temporarily. And they simply cannot conceive of treachery.
What are you driving at?
This. I'm going to play on Dr. Grove's liking for me, his kindness. And I'm going to trick him.
How?
Tomorrow I'll ask him to take me up above, back to the plane, to get pictures of my father and sister. Tell him I'm lonesome, suffering. He'll do it. I'm sure he will. It's very kind of you, Dr. Grove, to do this for me.
Oh, not at all, Lieutenant. I understand your feeling.
With you leaving, I'd have no one close. The pictures will make me feel a lot better.
Well, I only hope they're still here. Plane is partially demolished by the weather, as you can see.
Oh, they'll be there. They were in the map compartment. They'd be out of the weather.
Well, here we are.
Dr. Grove, look, over there.
Well,
Sorry, Doctor, but I had to do it. I hope I didn't kill him. He had been kind, but I hit him hard. Then I broke out a life raft from the rotting plane. I was almost afraid to look at it, but it was okay, even complete with supplies, 4 years old. I ripped the valve and threw it into the water. In 5 minutes, I was out beyond the breakers. I don't know how many days or weeks it was before they picked me up, but it was a long time. And I was more dead than alive.
Yes, Lieutenant, you were in bad shape. It was a horrible experience.
But you see, it doesn't matter about me. It's the others that... You don't believe me either, do you?
Well, Lieutenant, it's been a pleasure to listen to your story. I'll make a report to my superiors. Please be patient and try not to worry.
Try not to worry.
Good day, Lieutenant.
Get out. Get out, sir.
Oh, there, Commander Gorham. You've talked to him? What's the verdict?
A clear case of persecution mania. An amazing form. I've never heard a tale more complete and logical, but
Yes, I know what you mean.
Well, do what you can for him. I'm afraid he's going to be here for a long time. Perhaps for as long as he lives. Turned loose, he might be dangerous.
That's too bad. Nice boy, too. Floating for 4 weeks on a life raft, and heaven knows what before that. It sure does things to a man. Well, Doctor, how about lunch?
No, thanks. I've got to run along. I have to turn in my report and recommendation on this case.
Oh, of course. Well, I'll see you later.
I watched the man disappear down the hall. I stood there for a moment lost in thought, seeing the face of that boy in there. It was hard to know how best to be kind to a boy like that, but I roused myself. I had much to do. So much. And if I went down through the lobby of the hospital, some fool would surely delay me, get me into a long-winded discussion, and I didn't feel a bit like talking. I wanted to get out of this place and forward my report that this Brady case was closed, that there'd be no more trouble from this source. My car was just outside on the street. There was no one in sight in the corridor. So I turned and quietly walked through the wall.
Escape is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald. Today we have presented transcribed Conqueror's Isle by Nelson Bond, adapted for radio by John Dunkel. Starred as Lieutenant Brady was David Ellis, as Dr. Gorham, Ted Von Eltz, as Dr. Grove, Bill Johnstone. Featured players were Sam Edwards and Dick Benedict. The special music was arranged and played by Ivan Ditmars. Be sure and be with us again next week at this same time, when we will bring you another great story of mystery and intrigue by one of the world's outstanding authors of high adventure, as CBS again presents Escape. Ronnie and Benita are two names that are as familiar to Jack Benny fans as Mary, Phil, Rochester, Dennis, and Don. And since Jack Benny has received thousands of letters asking that the Ronald Colemans be brought back soon, he's happy to present them as special guests on his program this Sunday. Hear the Jack Benny program on these same CBS stations tomorrow night. This is Roy Rowan speaking for CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are on an island in the South Pacific, of fortune within your reach, yet standing between you and freedom, keeping you a captive and a slave, is a giant of a man, and the most beautiful woman you've ever seen.
Listen now as Escape brings you John Russell's great story, The Bird of Paradise.
With his heart full of greed and 100 pounds in his pocket, Andrew Harben traveled east through the archipelago into the Solomon Sea. He went questing across many degrees of latitude before he came to the Spice Islands, where at the ancient town of Ternate, he found the shop of a fat Dutch half-caste. There he was shown into a room that flamed with color, as if all the rainbows of the seas had been trapped and graded and hung up for sale. These were the skins of the birds of paradise, the shyest and rarest of all creatures.
Dutchman.
Yeah?
Which is the prize bird of this lot?
All are very scarce.
I didn't ask that. I asked which is the scarcest.
I will make you a bargain on any of them.
No, you won't. I'll make you a bargain.
I do not understand.
It's not your price to sell I want, but to buy.
You have birds for me to buy?
Not yet, but I will have. Where do these skins come from?
Who knows? From island tribes to the east somewhere. Sea gypsies trade them from coast to coast until they finally arrive near enough to Ternate for me to buy.
There'll be no middlemen with me. I'll go direct to the islands.
Huh? Maybe you might kill 5, 6 natives before they cut off your head.
Nonsense.
Also, the sun is very hot today.
Wait. Now look here, you stupid Dutchman.
Please, I meant no insult, please.
And watch your tongue before I twist it out of your fat mouth.
All right. It's your life you risk. Come, I will show you something. Now, in this chest is the rarest bird of all.
Show me. Purple and gold. I never saw one like that.
Yeah, I call it the Imperial Bird of Paradise. Once a year comes to me 6 skins. No more. Worth 50 times the price of common ones.
50 times?
Never comes more than 6 skins.
From where?
Who knows? The natives with which I trade and the wild sea gypsies with which they trade. Nobody knows. But somewhere east is an island, one island where lives the Imperial Bird of Paradise.
I'm not looking for fairy tales, Dutchman.
Yeah, well, maybe it is only a fairy tale.
But you do get a few of these skins, huh?
Half dozen a year. No more.
Very well, then. Tell me where I can pick up a small cutter. Seaworthy, but cheap. I'm going to find that island.
The Solomon Sea is sprinkled with thousands of tiny islands, one very much like another, and all equally wild and uncharted. And very soon after sailing from Ternate, Andrew Harbin could not have told his whereabouts on a map within the dab of his thumb. For 3 months he wandered fruitlessly through the sea and touched upon island after island. Then, as he was about to give up, he fell ill with a fever, and when a howling gale smashed his vessel on a reef one night, he was cast ashore, dazed, and scarcely caring where he had landed. When morning came, it wasn't the sun that woke him, but a huge monster of a man with cold blue eyes and a thick red beard.
Are you dead or just playing possum? I thought so. Where's your boat, mister? Who's here with you?
I'm alone. My boat's wrecked.
Trying to land it in a storm? What kind of a sailor are you?
I'm not a sailor.
Well, what might you be, then?
A trader. A businessman.
That's a lie. There's no white traders among these islands, never have been.
Well, I'm not exactly a trader. I'm looking for something. Maybe you can help me. After I get a little food and rest.
We'll see about that when you tell me what you're looking for.
I'm looking for an island.
Oh, you are, eh? Well, you're on an island. My island.
Your island? Who are you, anyway?
I'm Jim O'Ryan, late second mate of the schooner Mary Friend wrecked at that reef out there December 19th, 3 years ago. And you're nothing but a sneaking trespasser. I know what you're looking for.
No, I came in peace, O'Ryan. I don't want your island.
Yes, you do. You're one of them fortune hunters, is what you are. I tell you, mister, I've been expecting one of your kind. I've been waiting for you.
Waiting? For me?
Or some thief like you. But you should have brought along a company and a machine gun or two. Why, man, did you think to cut out this little island by your lonely, the likes of you? Should have broke your neck first off.
Why didn't you?
Wanted to be sure in my mind just what manner of man you are first.
And, sir?
You've come to destroy this place. The stink of the world is on you, mister. You're evil, and you're going to be treated like evil.
I've come too far to be stopped now, O'Ryan.
The fight you want, well, then...
And so the huge Orion took Andrew Harbin, now unconscious, slung him under one arm, and climbed the beach to a little clearing in the jungle beyond. There stood a neat bamboo house, and before it, a girl. She was clothed in one gorgeous robe of purple and gold, made all of bird skins. Hundreds of imperial paradise bird skins. And she herself was even more beautiful than they.
Orion, you lied to me. You did not bury them all. You told me you buried them, every one.
Well, how do you know I didn't dig this lad up again, Lagoma? Who do you think it might be now? The captain?
It can't be.
No, captain never could have growed so monstrous thin. There, look at this one.
He's alive, Orion. It's a man.
Yeah, what's left? A poor specimen of that. Wouldn't it be best to kill him now, Lagoma?
No, no.
Now, what's this to bite me? What made you do that, huh? What's come to you?
I want him. Don't bury him away in the ground with the others. He's a new white man. I want him to keep.
Oh, you do, eh? Well, I had no idea I was bringing a present strike your fancy so close. Well, You little spitfire.
Don't you touch her, Orion.
Oh, look, Nagoma. Your beachcomber's going to be a hero.
Lay off.
Come on, lad. Give it to me.
I'll give it to you.
Now again, get up and try it again. Oh, man, that was good. First fair wallop I've had of the enemy armed for 3 years.
Stop, Orion. Don't spoil him. Don't take him away from me, or I will be very angry. Carry him into the house now before he dies.
So, you're awake now, eh?
I'm awake.
3 days of eating and sleeping's enough.
Got a bit of fever yet.
That'll go.
I want to thank you and Nagoma both for your care.
Do you now?
Well, I'd have died otherwise.
My real mistake was not cracking your neck off when Nagoma laid eyes on you. I forgot the child had seen no other man but me for years. Now she's taken a notion to you, like a new toy or a bit of a poodle dog.
You kept me alive.
And I'll let you live such as you are so's Nagoma will have her poodle to play with. Even though you come to this lovely Eden of mine to rob it for dirty gain, you thieving buccaneer.
I'm an honest trader, Orion. I'm not a thief.
Oh, maybe Nagoma believes that, even though I've warned her what you come here for and what kind of a man you are. She's all innocence, that child.
But what is there here to rob you of? It's just another island.
It's the island you was hunting for, you scum. Sorry I am I ever traded one of them purple bird skins now. I might have known it to bring greedy devils like yourself smelling for the place. They had to have knives and tobacco, and them sea gypsies would take nothing else.
Oh, you mean the birds of paradise, huh?
Don't be sly with me, you filthy rat. And forget about Nagoma, too. He thinks you're something grand now. She'll know better when she sees you put to your proper place.
What do you mean?
There's no gun on this island, Harbin. Whenever you want to kill me, you'll have to try with your hands. And you can try and I can smash your face again.
Why should I try?
Well, you're not going to like the jobs I set you to.
Jobs?
Didn't I tell you? Well, there's much to be done by way of public improvement around here. And you'll start in a big pit I've dug clear in a spring of water.
You mean it? You're going to keep me here as a slave?
Well, you don't think I'd let you go knowing what you do about them birds, do you now?
What do I care about your birds?
I told you to stop that lying. Now a slave is what you are. Till you prove yourself a better man than me, do you see?
You are listening to The Bird of Paradise, tonight's presentation on Escape. Stan Freberg stars on CBS Radio's Friday night comedy series called That's Rich. Try it on for size and for laughs tomorrow night on most of these same stations. That's Rich, you will say, and you'll be right. And now, Escape and the second act of The Bird of Paradise.
Andrew Harbin had traveled far and suffered much to find the island of the imperial bird of paradise, but his pains had just begun. Still weak and feverish, he was taken next day to the edge of a black volcanic cliff, and there he was kicked into a great hole some 12 feet deep and with straight, unscalable sides. After him, Orion threw a wooden spade and a bucket and ordered him to dig for a spring that might lie under the rock. And here Andrew Harbin toiled and sweated like the slave he had become day after day. And here he lived. At noon, Nagoma would bring his food and lower it in a basket. And then, perched on the bank above him, she'd gaze down at him and talk.
Are you feeling better today, Andrew?
How could I feel better? kept down here like a bear in a pit.
Sometimes I think you should have never come to this island at all.
Sometimes I wonder what goes on in your head, Nagoma.
Not much, I suppose. I know little of the world. Only what Orion has told me.
I see. But, look, Nagoma, don't you ever want to get away from here? Get out into the world?
I've never been in the world. I was going to Port Moresby. A missionary was taking me, but he was drowned when we wrecked. The island where I was born and this one is all I know.
Nagama, how would you like to go with me?
With you?
Ah.
Oh, I'd like that, Andrew. But Orion says the world isn't nice. He says people are always stealing and lying and fighting. Nobody has any honesty or honor.
Well, no, that's not true.
Orion says it is. He says if people knew of us, they'd take our world away.
Do you love Orion, Nagama? Huh?
You mean like sometimes I comb his beard?
Maybe.
I'd like to comb yours too, Andrew. You have such a pretty yellow beard. All curly.
Well, listen, Nagama. You can't comb the beards of two men. You can only love one man.
You talk such funny words, Andrew. I know nothing of these things. What use are so many words?
Oh, I'll show you what use they are, Nagama.
How?
Help me get out of this pit some dark night.
Oh, no, Andrew. He put you there.
Listen, Nagoma, do you know why I came to this island?
Orion says it was because you are a thief.
No. I came here to take you away, Nagoma. I came to find you and take you back with me.
Me? Why, Andrew?
Because I love you. And because you're beautiful. There's no one in the world as beautiful as you, Nagama.
Is this truth, Andrew?
Orion told you I came seeking the bird of paradise, didn't he?
Yes.
Well, he's right. Except for one thing.
What one thing, Andrew?
You are the bird of paradise.
Oh, Andrew. I'm so glad you're still alive.
Well, my pirating scureen, how's the luck down there?
Orion, if you've any decency left, get me out of here.
A thief and a spoiler like you talking of decency. Get to work and find that spring. Ah, by heaven, you're not worth your keep, Harvin. I'm coming down there. You wait till I fix my rope.
Hey, you might have let me climb down that rope instead of kicking me into this hole like you did.
The rope's for me. Harvin, you've done mighty little work down here.
There's no spring under this rock, Orion, and you know it.
Why then dig for gold, man, or precious stones? You're a fortune hunter, are you not?
You're insane.
Insane, am I? Because I want to live here in peace. Because Nagoma's more to me than the riches I could have from the birds.
All right. All right. Look, Orion, you've got a boat. I saw it. Let me take it and leave here.
I've thought of that. And it's 1,000,000 to 1 chance that you'd ever be able to find your way back, but I won't risk it.
What are you going to do with me, then?
Harvin, a plucky freebooter like you can handle a shovel brisker than you've been doing. Now dig into it, you lazy scowbunker.
No, I won't.
You won't, eh? Then maybe you're ready to fight. Is that it, lad?
No.
You hurt him.
No, he's not hurt, Nagoma. He needed limbering up is all. I'm coming out now.
You promised me, Orion.
I promised you what?
You said you wouldn't spoil him.
Oh. Well, now look at him now, Nagoma. He's on his feet again, as good as new.
Are you all right, Andrew?
I'm all right.
See? Now, I've work to do, Nagoma, and you can stay and play with your poodle dog if you like.
And you keep away from him, Orion.
You teach him to be civil, then.
Poor Andrew. Would you like some water?
No, thanks.
You mustn't think Orion's always so mean. You should have seen how patient he was teaching me to read.
He taught you to read?
Out of a book he saved from the ship. It's the only one we have.
The Bible, eh?
No. It's the ship's book. The log.
The log? The log of the Merry Friend?
Of course, it's not very interesting. It's full of numbers and the like.
Sure. Numbers. Longitude and latitude. Every day. Every day till she was wrecked out there.
What, Andrew?
Listen, Goma, I'm a far better educated man than Orion. I can teach you many wonderful things he's never heard of.
Can you, Andrew?
Of course. But you'll have to bring the book with you.
Well, what good would that do, Andrew? You down there and me up here.
Listen to me, Nagoma. All the things I have to teach, I must whisper to you with my lips against your ear. Do you understand?
Are they truly wonderful things, Andrew?
Wonderful things, Nagoma. But don't you see, I'll have to get out of here first.
But how can you get out?
The rope. Orion's rope. You can tie it and drop it down and leave it hanging. And then when it's dark, I'll come out and meet you on the beach.
Orion would be very angry, Andrew.
You'll never know. Tonight, Nagoma, bring the book with you to the beach. I'll meet you there, where Orion's boat is anchored.
All right, Andrew. And maybe I can comb your pretty yellow beard.
Oh, yes. Yes, Nagoma. Yes, of course.
Andrew Harbin had known many women and many different kinds, but Nagoma's almost incredible simplicity was something new and startling. Because of it, however, he regained his freedom. And when night came, he climbed up the rope and made his way to the beach, his wooden shovel in hand in case Orion should stumble on them. Nagoma was waiting, as she had promised, and in the moonlight she seemed more than ever like the imperial bird of paradise. He put out his hand and touched her priceless robe where it hung across one shoulder.
Andrew, you've come out. Orion will kill you if he finds us.
It's worth the risk, Nagoma.
Oh, I did a very bad thing to listen to you and let you out. I was a bad girl, Andrew. Why did you make me?
Nagoma, my little wild bird, I must teach you what it is to love.
You promised to teach me many wonderful things, Andrew.
Yeah.
Here, I brought the book, The Log of the Merry Friend.
Oh, good. I'll put it in my belt. Yeah.
But you were going to teach me from it.
There's no time now, Nagoma. Later.
Later?
When we're at sea on Orion's boat. You'll come with me. Well, you will, won't you?
You want me, Andrew?
Oh, you know I do.
And the birds of paradise?
Well, I told you. You're what I came here after.
Nagoma! Nagoma!
It's Orion.
Nagoma!
Yeah, he's on the beach there, near his boat.
He hasn't seen us. Let's hide, Andrew. Hurry. He's coming this way.
Behind that palm there. I'll fix him this time.
Not with the shovel, Andrew. No,
Quiet. You'll be quiet. I got him. I've won, Nagoma. I've won.
You killed him.
No, he isn't dead, but I've got the log. I'll come back and strip this island. I'll take 1,000 skins. I'll be rich. There won't be a bird left when I'm through.
The log, Andrew. That's what you wanted the log for.
It's as good as a map. It's better.
It wasn't to teach me wonderful things.
What do you need to know? I'm going to be rich.
Orion was right. You are only a thief.
But I want you too, Nagoma.
Me too. Orion wants only me. He cares for none riches.
Orion's a fool, but we're wasting time. Let's get to the boat and put to sea before he comes around.
No, Andrew.
Huh?
You go. I'm staying here.
What?
You want the skins more than you want me. You lied about coming here just for me.
What difference does it make?
You better hurry, Andrew.
All right. Stay then if that's what you want.
Wait. Before you go, kiss me. Just once.
Kiss you? You're an odd girl.
Please?
Oh, all right. But why? Why do you kiss me now, Nagoma?
Quick now, hurry.
Goodbye. Bye.
And so, on Orion's boat, Andrew Harbin made his escape. All that night, he labored hard to keep from wrecking on the innumerable reefs that seemed to protect every island he passed. And he had no time to think about Nagoma and why she had rejected him with their first kiss and their last. But with the coming of the sun next morning, he found out. Yes. And in the months that followed, as he sailed here and there over the sea, trying to find his way back to civilization, he had time to ponder on the unbelievable cunning of even the most innocent of women.
Andrew Harbin. Back at last. I thought you were dead.
I very nearly died, Dutchman.
Aha. You bring your head at least. And the Imperial Bird of Paradise. Did you find the island?
Almost. I almost found it, Dutchman.
Almost?
I had the island right here in my belt. Longitude, latitude, and a woman embraced me. Embraced me and robbed it back.
What are you saying, Harbin?
The ship's log. It was as good as a map. But I'd never find the island again now if I had 50 years to look for it.
Yeah, the sun is bad for white men. It makes fairy tales in the head.
Yes. It's time, Dutchman. I'm afraid you're right.
Under the direction of Norman MacDonald, Escape has brought you The Bird of Paradise by John Russell, specially adapted for radio by John Meston, starring John Daner as Andrew Harbin. Featured in the cast were Lawrence Dobkin, Gene Bates, and Ben Wright. Edgar Barrier was the narrator. Your announcer, George Walsh. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week.
You are kneeling in the church of a Caribbean village, seeking the sanctuary it might offer, while slowly, walking down the aisle, carefully studying each bowed head, is the brute of a man who has come to kill you.
So listen next week when Escape brings you Les Crutchfield's story, Violent Night. Don't look back. Look ahead to tomorrow night when CBS Radio presents another Arthur Godfrey Digest. It's the Godfrey Gang on nighttime radio over most of these same stations, taking all their best daytime songs, music, and shenanigans and pasting them together in one Friday night scrapbook of smiles and syncopation. The Arthur Godfrey Digest. Don't miss it tomorrow night at the Star's Address. Weekday evenings, Beulah cooks up comedy on the CBS Radio Network.
Tired of the everyday routine?
Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all?
We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. Escape, brought to you by your Richfield gasoline dealer and the Richfield Oil Corporation of New York. Marketers of Richfield gasolines with Xylene, Rich Lube, all-weather motor oil, and other famous petroleum products. Look for the Richfield Eagle on the cream and blue pumps.
Tonight, we escape to the jungles of South America and a seething tale of terror and violence, as told by James Poe in Bloodbath, starring Mr. Vincent Price.
By portaging the rapids and walking the mules in the shallower stretches, we'd managed to get our supplies and equipment more than 1,700 miles up the river. After this, further navigable passage being impossible, we'd traveled by foot, hacking our way through the thick, steaming jungle, coaxing and goading the heavily laden beasts. We'd left the jungle and begun the climb. 11 days later, high in the Andes, we found our objective, and we set to work, hard work. And then, on a hazy afternoon in late May, we found it. I shall never forget the scene. Below us, the mountains swung down to the jungle which stretched eastward, far as the eye could see. The peaks above us had cut off the setting sun, and the light had a curious violet quality. The dank, chill wind, whispering and gusting, set the sparse timber scrubs to trembling and shuddering, and the mules, disdainful of their 5 strange masters, foraged the cacti and dwarf pine. The instruments were set up and the specimens were at hand, and now, crouched and tense, we leaned forward.
How about it, Hess?
Wait. The tube's got to warm up. Come on, come on.
Wait, will you?
I've waited 5 years for this moment.
500, you mean? 5 million. Come on, Hesse.
How about it, Hess?
Okay.
Give him the sample, O'Brien.
Yeah, here.
Come on, baby.
Shut up, will you?
Shh. Here goes. Switch on. Holy cow. Good? Good. It's fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah?
Come on, Hesse. What's the word?
Yeah, Hesse, give him.
Gentlemen. Unless this machine is busted, unless this Geiger counter has forgotten its multiplication table, we have discovered the richest lode of uranium ore known to man.
Yahoo!
I won't go into the details of how we'd come to locate the ore, because that's a story in itself. Suffice it to say that late in the afternoon of that hazy May day, the 5 of us, gamblers all, came to the end of our rainbow, found our pot of gold.
The vein runs all the way up the side of the mountain.
Must be worth $1 million.
$1 million, $1 billion.
$1 trillion. Do you boys realize what we've got here?
Sure we do.
We've got the world at our feet. Why, the man who gets the strike registered in his name can be a king. Every country in the world is going to come running up to him with trunks full of money and power.
You tell him, Hesse.
Power?
Yeah, we'll make the United States the most powerful nation on earth.
Why the States?
Oh, you wouldn't sell to anybody else, would you?
I'm a businessman, Harris.
You're a fool.
No. I'm a businessman.
$1 trillion.
Oh, gents, we've got the world at our feet. Split 5 ways.
The world at our feet, split 5 ways. That night, as I lay huddled under my thin blanket, I wondered what it would be like being a wealthy man. Wondered if it were really true. Wondered how it would affect the others, how it would affect me. In the morning, we were to set off on the long return journey down to the jungle and through the jungle to the launch and down the river to civilization. There, we'd register our claim, purchase, if need be, the land, lease it perhaps from the government. Oh, millionaires. World at our feet. Uranium. Enough to blow up the whole universe. Power.
Harris, wake up.
What's
Wake
the
up,
time?
Harris, wake up.
Oh, good morning, millionaire.
Weems, wake up.
The sun's coming up. Hey, hey, where are the others?
They've gone.
Gone?
Yes, Dumont and O'Brien. They took the mules and most of the food and cut out.
When?
How do I know when? Sometime during the night.
But why?
Why? $1 trillion, that's why.
Oh, no.
Once they get down to the jungle, they'll have to travel on foot. There's 10 days' march to the river. If they beat us to the boat, we're stuck with 1,500 miles of jungle between us and safety.
50? Impossible. We'd never make 100.
That's right. We've got to catch 'em, or we're dead.
We traveled as lightly as possible. It was a risky business, doubly so because O'Brien and Dumont had taken our guns with them. The only weapons we had between us were one long machete and 2 pocket knives. These would be of little protection against jaguars, bushmasters, tapirs, boa constrictors, and the rest of it. Fortunately, they'd left our number one necessity to survival. They'd forgotten to take our quinine. This and our food was all we carried. The long descent to the jungle was slow going on foot. It was here that we nearly gave up hope. We moved as fast as we could, but we were no match for men who were riding. But we reached the jungle. Then things took a better turn. Here, the thick vines and heavy undergrowth was, we knew, almost an impossible hazard for a riding man. And we could see their boot prints mingled with those of the mules. We knew that they were having trouble, too. The animals were afraid of many things in the jungle, would balk suddenly, require careful handling. We pushed ahead as rapidly as possible, battling mosquitoes, pume flies, matucas, and the blood-sucking carpato ticks, and, of course, the jungle itself with its never-ending barrage of razor grasses, needle vines, swamps, bog traps, and so forth. It was hot, stinking hot, and the going was hard, but we had to make it. Couldn't travel at night. They'd taken our flashlights. We'd bundle up as best we could, protecting ourselves not from the cold. It was hot and muggy even at dawn, but from the mosquitoes. And as we progressed towards the river area, from the bats. Vampire bats. Ever seen them? They're small, rather fragile-looking little things. By day, they hang, heads down from the trees, wings folded like clusters of rotten fruit. By night, they hunt. They have razor-sharp teeth, bite like the finest steel scalpels. Their object is to break the skin very delicately, start the blood to coming, and then they simply hang on and sit. Without mosquito netting, we had a rough time of it, a sleepless time. But we managed to keep on going. And on the 3rd day...
It's no use, fellas. We can't make it to the river before them.
We've got to, Weemsy. We've got to make it.
right, Weems.
And even if we do catch up, they got the guns.
Shh.
Huh? What are you stopping?
Quiet. I heard something.
What did you hear?
Shh.
Gunfire.
Yeah. Come on. They can't be more than a mile or two ahead. Come on.
We ran through the jungle, following the fresh marks of the animals and the 2 men. And a half an hour or so later, we broke into a little clearing, and there was Dumont.
Dumont.
He's dead.
Shot in the back.
Good old Obie.
Sweet guy, that Obie.
Here, come on. Let's turn him over.
He's really been sweating, huh?
Yeah.
It's malaria. You see his face?
Good old Obie.
And Dumont came down with malaria, probably started to slow him down.
Sweet guy, that Obie.
Come on. Come on, let's go.
Hey, they should have remembered the quinine.
I got no sympathy for Dumont.
You know what'd be nice?
What?
If that Obie should get malaria now.
Yeah. He'd be helpless.
He'd ask me for quinine. And I'd throw him a stone.
On we went. Now there were no boot marks with the mule tracks. Apparently O'Brien was riding one of the animals. From time to time we'd see a flurry of tracks churned up as though he had to dismount to tug one of the beasts back onto the trail. We followed the tracks for another 2 days, and then on the 6th day, we found one of the mules.
How you feeling, boy? Huh? Where's your saddle?
He really looks beat. Look at those marks on his flanks.
Vampire bats.
Yeah.
That leaves O'Brien on foot.
Yeah.
Hey, you hear that?
Hey, it's the launch. We're to the river. He's starting the motor. Come on.
It wasn't very far, just a few hundred yards, and the path was strewn with O'Brien's discarded supplies. Quite suddenly, we came out of the jungle and onto a narrow white sandbar. The river. And there, not 30 feet away from us, just drifting off into the deep, dark, fast-moving waters, was O'Brien and the launch. O'Brien!
Beat you! I beat you up!
Look at him. He's like a skeleton.
Obie! Wait for us, Obie!
The launch lurched dizzily as it floated downstream. O'Brien was feeble, sweating, possessed. He had the fever, had it bad.
Come on, let's go after him.
You can't. This is piranha water.
Cannibal fish, they'll eat you.
Yeah.
Hey, Obie! Hey, you know me, Obie! Your old pal Hesby! Hey, what do you say, Obie, huh? Huh?
He staggered dizzily about the cockpit, trying to start the engine. He was laughing, and he was so weak that he could barely spin the flywheel to the kicker.
Obie!
He slipped!
Good Lord, he's in the water.
The fish, the piranhas!
They got him!
I ain't gonna look at this! One moment we saw him swimming weakly, his large, fever-ridden eyes turned imploringly toward us, and the next moment he was gone, leaving only a large red churning patch on the water. The piranhas are small, rarely more than 12 or 14 inches long, small fish with large, powerful jaws, teeth like broken glass, and an insatiable, maniacal appetite for flesh. The launch, caught by the deep, fast-moving waters, rocked softly this way and that and moved on downstream. Away. Away around a bend and out of sight.
The march of science over the years has produced better than ever gasoline for your car. But now science adds one of the greatest gasoline components of all. It's called xylene. Xylene, a super gasoline component, adds two great qualities to gasoline. Xylene gives higher than ever anti-knock performance. Xylene means power. Today, every gallon of Richfield gasoline contains xylene. If you want a motor that runs quiet as a whisper, if you want pickup and power to spare, try Richfield gasoline with xylene. Your Richfield dealer offers a choice of two great Richfield gasolines with xylene. Richfield High Octane at regular price for the average motor. Or Richfield Ethyl. Ethyl at its best for tip-top results in the highest compression motors. Drive in where you see the Richfield Eagle on the cream and blue pumps. Get Richfield gasoline with xylene. Xylene, one of the highest anti-knock components in gasoline history. And now we return you to Escape, starring Vincent Price.
We picked over the supplies O'Brien had left on the shore. There wasn't much we wanted. A gun without ammunition, a few tins of food, a tent and some bedding, cooking equipment, a coil of rope. We loaded these things onto the mule and set off through the jungle, downstream along the river's course. 1,500 miles to civilization. We had it tough. The jungle was thick along the river's bank, and we made little progress. Not more than 5 miles that day, but the next day, we rounded a bend, keeping close to the shore, and there, about a quarter mile below us and nuzzling the opposite shore, grounded on the sand, lay the launch.
Looks shallow enough here.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but what about the fish?
How deep does it look to you, Harris, at the deepest spot, I mean?
Oh, I don't know, maybe 2.5 feet, maybe 3.
Most of it's less than that.
I got an idea.
Shoot.
We got to get across the launch, see? So here's what we do. We throw away everything. There'll be food and water on the launch, see?
Yeah?
Now, you see that little patch of sand in the middle of the river where the bar shows?
Yeah.
We go that way. That's bound to be the shallowest way, see?
How do we go?
On the mule, the three of us.
Ah, you're nuts.
This mule ain't in such bad condition it can't get the three of us across 70 feet of shallow water.
What do you say, Harris?
Why not?
All right, I'll get aboard first. Come on.
Get farther up, Weemsy. You're the lightest.
Yeah.
Harris, you get on next. Hang on to Weemsy. Here. Carry this coil of rope around your neck. We may need it. I've got the machete strapped to my back.
You set, Weems?
Yeah.
Now hold tight to me, Hess.
Don't worry. If I go, you go too.
Yeah, and if he goes, I go.
So let's hang on, gents. Yeah. Let's really hang on.
As long as he's moving fast, he can't get at his legs. Ain't that right?
He's not showing anything to him but hoofs and hair.
Hold his head up, Weems. Don't let him look down.
Now, you all set?
Yeah, all set.
All right, here we go. All right, get along. Come on.
Come on, baby.
I felt the mule lurch when he stepped into the water. The sand was softer here than on the shore.
Sand, huh?
Ahead, not 40 feet away, lay the little spit of land. The mule refused to run, couldn't run, and before he'd taken 10 steps, I knew he was too weak to support the three of us. From every direction in the swirling water about us came small, shadowy, dark shapes. The piranhas.
Don't stop!
Come on, baby. Keep moving, baby. Come on. Move along, baby.
He can't do it.
You gotta do it, baby.
Come on.
Sweet mother. What are those?
The piranhas were churning the water about us, and coming in from beyond them were 4 or 5 long, dark shapes, 6 and 7 feet long, thick and wriggling.
Eels, electric eels.
They'll sting him. Get along. To the bar.
Get him to the sandbar.
Faster. Come on.
Made it.
It's true about electric eels. They can throw a jolt that'll kill a jaguar. They got jaws like a vice.
So, here we are, gentlemen, stuck. Just 30 feet of water between us and the shore. Get across it, and we can get to the launch and to civilization and all the rest of
The
it.
3 of us are too much for that mule.
Only 30 feet. Why, you could run it in seconds.
You see those little shadows around us in the water?
I see those little shadows around us. You don't have to draw pictures.
Hey,
Oh, here's another bright idea coming up.
as a matter of fact, yeah.
Yeah, hold on to your hat, Harris.
We got that coil of rope.
Yes.
The mule could carry one of us. That mule's not in such bad shape, you know.
Yes.
Tie the rope over his bridle. Then one of us pulls him over with him fast, you see. One rides, and then the other 2 pull him back.
Yeah?
And the next one gets on.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Oh, he can't stay here.
It's a natural.
Who goes first?
Me, on account I'm the lightest. I won't tire him so much.
How about it, Harris?
All right.
Well, get going then.
Okay. Tie that rope to his bridle.
I'm doing it.
All right, give me the machete.
What do you want the machete for?
I want it, that's all. Give me.
Okay.
All right,
Here.
now you 2 get at the end of the spit. So as when you pay out the line, you don't get it caught in his legs.
Well, you think of everything.
That's right. I'm a smart boy.
Ready with the line.
You sure it's tied fast to the bridle?
Yeah, I'm sure.
No funny business, Weems. All we gotta do is jerk this rope once while you're over that water and you're done for.
You're a sharp article.
Yeah, that's right.
But not sharp enough.
Hey, Weems, you cut the rope!
So long, sucker!
The rope. Our only salvation was cut. And now Weems, grinning and riding, was out into the stream, heading for the shore and safe. He went not 15 feet when one of the long, dark, wriggling shapes made for the mule and got his leg. The mule reared up on his hind legs, the eel clinging to his foot, pumping paralyzing shocks into him. Weems clutched his neck with one hand and slapped him on the flank with the flat of the machete with the other. The mule came down, and more eels went for his legs. He began to lurch sideways. Weems swung the long steel blade in an arc, barely missing the mule's leg, and connected with one of the eels. His hair seemed to stand on end. His other arm released the mule's neck. The arm holding the blade was extended stiffly, still caught in the thick, muscular back of the electric eel. And then the mule reared again, and Weems fell back into the water. The mule, freed of Weems, made the shore and vanished into the jungle. We turned away. No man could watch what was happening to Weems and retain his sanity. And so, there we were, Hess and I, on that sand spit which the river was slowly washing away. Night coming, vampire bats coming, and all about us, the electric eels and the little cannibal fish waiting. There was no moon. There were evil stars, red and yellow. There was a black sky, and against it, blacker shapes, the vampire bats. We waved our arms and kept them off, but again and again during that long and terrible night, they brushed against us, squealing and squeaking, trying to get us. Dark, evil, thirsting bats. A 1,000 years later came the dawn.
That water's taken a lot of sand away. This thing isn't much bigger than a card table. Look at them. Look at those fish. You'd think they had enough to eat yesterday. Listen, Harris. No matter what happens now, at least you and I have played it square, right?
Yeah, that's right, Hess.
Shake my hand, Harris.
All right.
Because I think I got an idea on how we can get out of here.
What?
Yeah. Look up there.
Yeah.
See that vine hanging down from the big tree?
It's over the water, and it must be 15 feet up.
Yeah, but if you were on it, you could do a Tarzan to the shore.
The rope?
That's right. Now, if we can just lasso the end of that and pull tight, we'll have enough swing to make it across. Swing like a pendulum, if you follow me. One guy gets on the other's shoulders to swing over to get the start, see? Then when he gets to shore, he fastens a rock and swings the rope back to the other.
That vine will hold. It'll work. It took us 2 hours before we managed to lasso the end of that vine. And then we tested it again and again until we were positive it would hold a man's weight. And then we were ready.
You stand good and steady now, pal. I'm going to go easy on you, but don't shake. Because if you spill me in that water, I'm a gone guy.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Good luck.
Here.
I felt his feet leave my shoulders, and then he was off, skimming the water with his feet drawn up, and then, miraculously, he was on the shore. Good boy! Good boy!
Yeah!
Like a breeze, huh?
Like a breeze.
Hey, any rocks around there?
Sorry.
He smiled at me and shrugged, and then looked down the stream at the launch. I knew that smile, that $1 trillion smile. It said, "So long, sucker." Don't do it, Hess. Send me the rope.
You're too nice a guy, Harris. You and I would never get along.
You can have it all, Hess. Every scrap of it. Only for the love of mercy, send me the rope.
No, you'd want some. You wouldn't approve of what I mean to do with it.
Hess! He stood there laughing at me and shaking his head slowly. But above him, just over his head, was another vine, thick and mottled, and it was moving. Look out, Hess! Hess! He didn't understand or didn't hear me. Just stood there smiling and shaking his head. The boa constrictor dropped heavily and accurately, a thrashing tangle of scaly muscles. The sun was hot, blistering hot. I was alone. All alone. Except for the ever-waiting piranhas. Hess's body was hidden by the low, scrubby vines and palmettos. Several hours later, I saw the boa, now gorged, slither lumpily away. I waited, and I waited. From time to time, I thought of stepping out into the stream. It would be over very quickly, I told myself, very quickly. But I couldn't. And then I noticed an odd thing. The current which had been sweeping the sand away had shifted slightly. A whim, a miracle. And now new sand from some sunken bar was beginning to pile up between me and the shore, grain by grain, rib by rib. I watched this. And I watched. And I watched. And at 5 o'clock that afternoon, I walked ashore to the lodge. And didn't even get my feet wet. It's nice where I live. Quiet little streets, nice people, nice kids, nice country. Peaceful. Nice peace. I know where there's enough uranium to blow it all to hell. Want it? Just go up the river. Up the river, it's for the taking. Ask Dumont and Obie and Weems and Hess. $1 trillion worth. Enough to give the whole world a bloodbath. Yourself included.
Warm summer weather makes you think of baseball games, picnics, and holiday driving. But be sure your car's ready when you are. Get Richfield All-Point Safety Service, the service that puts your car in top shape for warm weather driving. With Richfield All-Point Safety Service, you get a careful all-point lubrication job that protects the chassis, transmission, and differential. You get lubricants that stick to your car's ribs no matter what the temperature. You get the protection of Rich Lube, all-weather motor oil, the Pennsylvania premium-grade oil that cleans as it lubricates. You also get a safety check of batteries, spark plugs, tires, and radiator, and expert service if your car has automatic transmission. The Richfield gasoline dealer is specially trained to protect your car against wear and breakdown. So get Richfield All-Point Safety Service tomorrow. Look for the Richfield Eagle on the cream and blue pumps. Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and tonight starred Mr. Vincent Price. Bloodbath was written by James Poe. Others in the cast were Wally Mayer, Ted DeCorsia, Paul Frees, and Tony Barrett. Special music arranged and played by Ivan Ditmars. Next week.
You are groping your way slowly through the dark hold of a ship at sea, moving carefully, step by step, dreading to find what you know is there. Death in the form of a deadly bushmaster from which there is no escape.
Next week at this time, the Richfield Oil Corporation of New York invites you to escape to the Caribbean and a grim voyage of impending death, as Martin Storm tells it in his exciting tale, A Shipment of Mute Fate. Goodbye, then, until this same time next week, when once again we offer you Escape. Tom Hanlon speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.